In this video, I'll show you 5 fantastic walks in the Lake District. We'll encounter spectacular views, lakes and waterfalls, including Wainwright's favourite square mile. I'll show you the fly-through route first, and then we'll see each walk's unique features. Our first walk will take us up 3 Wainwrights, all to the east of Ullswater. We start at the car park, Hallenfell's immediately there, and we take us straight up and down to claim our first Wainwright of the day. We head up another noticeable incline to Steel Knots, and once the rocky summit is reached, we work our way down the steady traverse, reaching the farm and St Martin's Church. We cross over the bridge before heading up our third summit, Beda Fell. Once all 3 summits have been completed, we head across the ridge with Hallenfell in our sights. Now let's take a look at it in reality. As we start off, we can see the ascent, and it's straight up around 170 metres to the summit. The views quickly grow as we start to work our way up the grassy bank. Looking back, we can see Steel Knots, which is our next stop, then over to the right is Beda Fell. Wainwright describes Hallenfell as a motorist's fell, as it's very accessible by car and the car park holds around 50 cars. You'll find many people going up here just as a single fell to admire the view over Ullswater. And as we get to the crest, there's plenty of birds enjoying the wind today. An unmistakable column marks the top of the fell. We can appreciate the length of the lake and the stunning surroundings. And to the north, we can see views towards Scotland. Working our way off, we can get some more views before we leave, and amongst the surrounding fells is Gowbarrow, which we'll be visiting later in this video. In the distance, we can see Helvellyn, which is the 3rd highest mountain in the Lake District and England. This to our left is Steel Knots, and then Beda Fell is to the right. It's a straight walk as we head down to the church, and we soon find ourselves in the car park once again. We head round the back of the church and onto Steel Knots. The path is straight ahead, and we're still treated to views over Ullswater as we look to the side. There is a steeper ascent of around 100 metres, and again there are stopping points where we can admire the lake in the distance. As we continue to ascend, the views grow again, and once crested, it's much easier to walk across the flattish top which undulates towards the eventual summit. We can see the steadier gradient on top. Ullswater's behind us, with Hallenfell in the middle. The summit comes into sight just ahead of us as we work our way across the much gentler top, eventually, and get to our second Wainwright of the day with its rocky top. Working our way off, we can see the nab ahead of us, which is another Wainwright in the area. We work our way down and then off to the right. On this autumn day, the fells are shining for us, with the green in the valley and the orange of the bracken on the fell side. We'll get to the wall and then work our way down the fell side. As we head down into the valley, I take this steeper down, but if you carry on, you can see the start of this actual path, and it's much more gentle in the gradient. But this little nip off is about 30 metres down, so we opt for it. Once we connect to the main path, we can see the descent down eases us off the fell side, and it's a nice steady path. This is Ullswater in front of us, and in the distance, Gowbarrow is there again, which offers views over Ullswater from the other side. St Martin's Church is just below, so if you can't find a space where I started, then just come down here. We can take a little time to explore the historic church, and it helps to break up the walk or get shelter on a rainy day. We head forward over the bridge on a small road section past some old farmhouses. And then we come to an ascent through a bracken-filled fellside, and we start our ascent to the 3rd Wainwright of the day. This is steeper at first and becomes more steady towards the top. There's a little clamber and then we're up. You can see here the spectacular views that can be achieved in this half-day walk, and you can complete all 3 fells or break this walk down to do 2 or just a single fell. With our 3rd summit reached, we work our way along some of the same ground and then continue on to a new section as we head back to the start point. Howling Fell is just ahead of us and makes a good marker as we work our way across the tops. There are a couple of tops to reach as we work our way along, and they add interest to the walk. Birds are enjoying the wind again, and as we get towards the end of the ridge, we find a wall which can be traced down to the road. We can see the church in the distance as we complete this final section. Taking the bridge across the river, we are near the start point and soon reach the church. This is a fantastic walk and can be broken down into 1, 2 or 3 fells depending what you want to do. Starting at the free car park, we work our way through the rabbit warren, which is in Dodwood, and turn right onto the fell. And as we continue this incline, which takes in most of the height for the day, we turn right to make a steady ascent along the edge. The edge offers us excellent views over Skiddaw to the left, and we soon find our way to our first Wainwright, Ullock Pike. It's a steady walk to our second Wainwright, Longside. After admiring the views, it's a steady up and down to our third Wainwright in this chain, Carlside. When leaving Carlside, Derwent Water is in front. We can traverse our way across the fellside until we meet the base of Dodd. Dodd is a wooded fell. Zigzagging up, we go through the wood and then eventually find ourselves at the top with rewarding views of Bassenthwaite Lake, and after picking up our 4th Wainwright, we head once again through the wood, taking it down on the Skillbeck Trail. We head through the wood, eventually meeting the cafe, before completing the end section of our walk, once again in the woodland, to Sandbedskill. And once there, we head down to the start point once again. It's a great way to pick up these 4 Wainwrights, and I really hope you enjoy it. I'm starting off at a free car park. There's probably space for 5 cars or so there, and it's just down from the main Dodwood car park. So I'll pop it on the map now so you can see where it is. And I say this is it's near the hostel. We work our way up through Dodwood on a gradual incline. This is a steady up until we come across the open fell. The gate marks the entrance to the steeper ascent, and on this section we gain a lot of the height for today. As we walk up, there's time to stop and admire Bassenthwaite Lake, which is the only lakeland body of water given the name lake. The others carry the names of mere or water. In the distance, we can see many Wainwrights, which we'll visit on other videos on this channel. The view out to the north shows us Binsey, which is another solitary Wainwright and is fantastic for a dog walk. As we're in the northern fells, we can always see the Solway Firth and glimpses towards Scotland. Our ridge is ahead of us with Skiddaw to our side. It's windy on this autumn day, but there's no real exposure on the ridge. We can see the ascent comes in waves with some small scramble sections. As the northern fells are more rounded in nature, there are some mountain bikers sharing our trail today. The ridge shows excellent views as we gain height. Our first summit of the day is Ullock Pike. It's unmarked, but gives views down to Derwent Water and Keswick nearby. Dodd is just below us, and we'll visit it later. The term Dodd is given to a hill with a rounded bare top, and this one is a Wainwright. If you're new to walking in the Lake District, the Wainwrights are 214 fells featured in the pictorial walking guides published by Wainwright. And it's the aim of many walkers to visit each of these summits. Longside is our second Wainwright summit for this walk, which is marked by a humble pile of stones. The path to the left would take us to Skiddaw, but today we go to the right to Carlside. Carlside's a bit of a junction and has a small cairn marker which we touch before working our way towards Keswick and Derwent Water on the descending path. There are crows out again enjoying the wind. The descent feels steep, but the path is stable as it works its way forward. And once we reach White Stones, we'll take a right. Whitestones is a notable rock formation in the area and obvious when you reach it. Once we've tracked right, we descend down the fell side. This has some steepness, so again, take your time. The path is obvious as it continues towards the base of Dodd. We meet the track at the end, and there's a dog gate, then a stile. Once over the track, we're in a wooded section as we begin our ascent up Dodd. Dodd's one of the smallest Wainwrights, but stands proud in the landscape. The trees become more sparse as we head up and the views start to appear. The summit of Dodd has a stone marker and Bassenthwaite Lake as well as Derwent water are below us. After completing our fourth Wainwright of the day, we start our descent through the trees once more, which become thicker as we work our way down. As we work through Dodd Wood, we come across the bridge, which is next to a cafe should you wish refreshments, so we take the bridge into the other wooded section. This offers a relaxing finish to the walk and takes us back to the start point. This route has wooded sections, 4 Wainwrights, and in my view, the best low-level ridge in Lakeland. We're soon back on the trail to our start point and the car park. Tarn House is a really popular walk in the southern parts of the Lake District. We start at the bottom of Glen Mary car park. We come across Tom Gill waterfalls. Once at the dammed end of Tarn House, we start to move up the western side with Tom Heights to our left, and upon reaching the end, we work our way onto the fells. There's a stony path, turning left, we head our way through the plantation, and in summer, this is a shady walk and there are fantastic views to our left. Once reaching the summit of Black Crag, we start heading down to the other viewpoint where we can take in Windermere as we work our way back towards the gate. Then once again through the woods, we trace the same path back and then head round the rest of the Tarn. It's an elevated position which gives a stunning view across the water. This is a walk you can do very easily in the afternoon. We head to the small dam once again and work our way down past the waterfalls and back to the car park. This is us heading across the bridge. We start from the National Trust car park beneath Tarn House and head over the bridge to enter the wood. We trace Tom Gill up through the woods until we reach Tarn House. As we head up, we can see the white water and there are a number of waterfalls to experience as we continue our ascent. Most visitors to Tarn House don't know about the waterfalls, so you'll find them quieter than the Tarn itself. You are in for a treat as we enjoy the falls all the way up. We can start to see the tree's end as the Tarn comes near and we continue up through the wooded path. This is the dammed end of the Tarn, as Tarn House is originally made up of 3 smaller tarns. The dam means they've been flooded into one big body of water, and this is what we can see today. The path around the Tarn is very steady and has been designed as one of the miles without stiles walks around the Lake District. It's wheelchair and buggy friendly if you just want to visit the lake from the upper car park next to the Tarn. As we walk towards the end of the Tarn, we come across a big log with coins pressed into the gaps, a tradition around the area, and you'll see a few around the Lake District. You can see here there's a steady path which can be enjoyed by all visitors to the area. We're through the gate and enjoying the nature around us. At the head of the Tarn, we head over the stile and make our way towards Black Crag, which is a Wainwright. We take the path along the fell side, we pass through the gate, onto the track, and it's a short distance then to the wood. We follow the trail around, then we can see the entrance to the wood. This trail is shared by vehicles as well, and today we see some motorbikes. Here's our turning, and it's a steady trail through the woods before we reach the next section. The path is steady, although often wet underfoot. We come across the signpost which points us towards the end of the wood, and then it's a little further and we're onto the fells. This is our gate, and then we can take the track across to Black Fell. This is a winter day, so there's a little frost on the gatepost. This trail will take us onto the undulating top as we approach our highest point of the day. We can see a lot of popular fells on the skyline, particularly the Coniston Fells in the Southern Lakes, many of which I have in other videos in the channel. Our view to the north shows us the central fells, including the Langdale Valley Range, another spectacular area. We continue our ascent, admiring the scenery around us. The top is busy, but that's no surprise, as this fell is very accessible and with lots of reward for a moderate effort. Black Fell is the second lowest Wainwright, only just topping Castle Crag, which we'll see later in this set of walks. Just off the top is another significant cairn, and that gives us a fantastic view over Windermere. It's a great place to stop and have your sandwiches as you admire the view, and is much quieter than the actual summit. After taking in the views, we can work our way back to the Tarn on the same route. We're back into the wood and then through our gate once more. At the other end of the wood, we're back through the gate again and onto our track. And then it's just a short walk through the field, and we once again have Tarn House in our sights, just glimmering through the trees. Tarn House is very popular amongst dog walkers in all weathers, and today it's a little icy. There's a road off to the left which will take you to the upper car park, and just around the back there's an excellent cafe. From other videos on Tarn House, it seems some people don't know about this cafe, but it gives an excellent stopping point for refreshments. Having completed the loop, we find our way back to the dam section, and from here we can return into the woodland walk once again. We can admire the waterfalls as we head down on our descent, so if you enjoy woods, waterfalls, lakes and views, this walk has it all. On this walk, we're going to start at the National Trust car park, and it's a short walk to Aira Force. This is an impressive 60-foot high waterfall with its own resident ghost. Working our way through the wood, we find High Force, and we trace this through until we find our way out of the woods and onto open ground. And as we reach the top of Gowbarrow, we look over Ullswater and the surrounding mountains. The walk down is steady, and if it's done this way round, we can get great views of Ullswater all the way back. This walk's a great one to claim a Wainwright and can easily be done in half a day. Heading out from the National Trust car park, we enter the picnic area and then into the grounds. This bottom section looks like a Victorian park, and that's because it was originally a country estate owned by the Howard family. There are some sculptures in here which are ideal for kids, and you can play on them no matter what your age. New tree specimens are being added, and here we have a pair of monkey puzzle trees. Working through, we get the views down to Ullswater and the surrounding fells. Place Fell is just on the other side of Ullswater, and we also get views back towards the Helvellyn range. To visit the waterfall, we work our way down the steps and eventually reach its base. This is a popular tourist attraction and is very accessible from the car park. The ghost of Lady Emma roams around here, and I tell the story of her watery demise on the full video, which is linked in the description. At the top of the waterfall, we can see the view down as we see Aira Beck working its way down into the valley. For us, we work our way up through the woods and head towards the high cascades. So this walk has woods, waterfalls and wonderful views. Here are some of the high cascades, and we follow them all the way through the wood until we reach the gate. We're gradually gaining height all the time, and at the end of the wood we come out onto open pasture land. Looking back from where we've just exited, you can see Place Fell in the distance. Turning up at the gate, this is our most significant up of the day. The path goes close to the wall and is well constructed as we follow its winding nature. A little further on, we'll begin to level off. There are spectacular views which accompany us as we travel upwards. The fells are lit up on this winter's day and are giving us some great colours. Eventually, the steepness relents, giving us an easier run up to the top. You can see the summit in the distance, which has a few people on it today. The path on this route is stony but very manageable, and there's a little rainbow just poking out for us. We reach the summit and get to admire the views from the top of this Wainwright. The route down is an easy to follow path which traces us towards Ullswater, where we'll pick up the terrace route and enjoy the views going forward. The bags on the side are brought here by helicopter, and they contain rocks which will be used to make the conservation path. That'll prevent erosion on the fell side, and this happens all over the Lake District. It is needed today because the path down is a bit mucky in this section, but recovers later on. You can see the path going down here. It is a bit muddy, but the conservation work will soon take care of that. This is the route we've taken so far, and the path continues the same way as we head down. There are some viewing points that we can take advantage of just off the path, and these give us great views over Ullswater and the surrounding fells. There's a gifted seat from the Howard family, which was given when the estate was handed over to the National Trust in 1905. We can take in the views from here. We continue down this descent, and in the summer, the bracken and trees will be out in leaf. We go a bit further down and we can see the Ullswater wych elm. It's a 300-year-old tree which was damaged in a recent storm but has started to spring back to life as a phoenix tree. We're soon back to the park area, and from here we're over the bridge and then work our way back on the trail to the car park. It's near Christmas when I recorded this video, and the path is lit up for us to put us in the festive spirit. So it's back to the car before enjoying some Christmas cheer at a nearby pub. On this walk, we're going to explore the area which Wainwright describes as the loveliest square mile in the lakes. We start our trek in the small car park outside Grange, and after going through the village, we work our way alongside the river up to the Millican Dalton caves. There we explore before moving back down to the river and completing our ascent up to Castle Crag. We go through the slate at the top and admire the views. We come off the other side of the fell, and this tracks down a stable path to the River Derwent. Our start point is the lakeland village of Grange, which, although small, has a pub, a cafe and toilets. We take the bridleway at the back of the shop and head down the lane. The path is a single track road, giving us a good walking surface. Out to the side we can see Cat Bells and the route up Maiden Moor and High Spy. We take a bridleway up to Castle Crag, which is about 2 miles on our route up. At the side we can see Grange Fell, which is another Wainwright in the area. I've got a video linking Grange Fell to Castle Crag, and I'll link it in the description for you if you wish to see it. Drawing level with the River Derwent, there are a couple of small bridges to cross as the becks join. The woodland is deciduous with a relatively easy stony path which we can follow until we reach our ascent. This is the direct path, but we're in search of the Millican Dalton caves, so if you'd like to find it, take the path tracing the River Derwent, and we'll find it on the side of Castle Crag. The terrain starts to change, and soon we start heading up to the cave. The first cave is interesting, but not the one we're looking for, so we journey on. Millican titled himself a Professor of Adventure, and he lived in the cave in which we visit. It has a sign saying no fires, but I'll tell you about that on the other video. The upper chamber is known as the loft, and it's a sleeping area where Millican Dalton rested in his lengthy stays here. He gained a small income from taking visitors on adventure trips, which involved climbing and hiking, and he was a non-drinker and a vegetarian. A contemporary of Wainwright, he's mentioned in his books. As a survivalist, he also lived off the land and spent many months at a time in this cave. As well as the modern cave drawings in the attic, we can see some words carved into the rock. Although some say these were carved by Millican, this seems to be unlikely, as he was a literate man and there are some misspellings. Other accounts say it was carved in by a friend as the result of an argument. It says, "Don't waste words, jump to conclusions." I'll leave you to ponder the meaning of this statement whilst we continue on. This is the way we've come up, and now we'll work our way down and find the path. That'll take us through the woods and onto the summit. So let's head down into the woods. We can see the results of mining with piles of spoil, and there are other cave-like structures as we wander through the wood. These are the results of slate mining, which occurs all over the fell, and especially at the top of Castle Crag. We go through the gate in the field, which gives us a very manageable path up to the summit. As we walk up, there are great views down to the valley. We can see down to the nearby village of Wainwright, which in itself has a small cafe. As we walk up, High Spire appears as our backdrop. The view of the valley continues to grow, and it's no wonder this place was so beloved by Wainwright. At the top of the field, there's a stile which takes us to our final section and a slatey run to the top. Although this is the smallest of all Wainwrights, it still sets a challenge, and this slatey path to the top gives us our final zigzag as we work our way up. Although it looks a little daunting, the path is actually quite clear and easy to go up. Working our way through the tons of slate, we soon get to the viewing platform, which allows us to look over the valley. And again, the evidence of slate mining is all around. We can see some remote structures that were here as part of the workings. All this area was mined in the past, and there's a great section of the fell missing. Some may argue it's an eyesore, and some may argue it adds to the social history of the area. But nevertheless, it does provide some interest, especially for climbers. The top is just over here, so walking over to the summit, we can see the mining and the small cliff faces it's left behind. At the top, we have a view to Derwentwater, and there's a memorial plaque which remembers those who died in conflict. At the top, there used to be a more built-up structure, a bit like a battlement, but it's deteriorated today. You can see some of its remains here. Now let's have a look from the stunning top. We work our way off, and despite this being the smallest of all Wainwrights, it's a perfect mountain which truly deserves its accolades. After exploring the mineworks, we head back down the slate trail to the lower section where we can catch the route back to Grange. And this is a straightforward trail which takes us back to Derwentwater once again. If you'd like to see these walks in any further detail, all the maps and full videos are in the description. Thanks for watching the videos, and I hope they brought you what you needed. And if it did, it helps me if you like and comment. If you want to see more about these, then think about subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.